Oh, yeah. Welcome to Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, brought to you by Blue Microphones. They look great, and they sound even better. Guys, guess who it is? You'll never guess. You know me. Maybe you don't.
My buddy Andy.
Yeah, it took you a minute to recognize me. No big deal. And over there, as always, there he is.
Bam, bam.
That's Gnarly Nick, the Garlic Dragon. Look at him. What kind of shirt do you have on today? Is it?
That's a Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
It's my pajama shirt. My cold weather pajama shirt.
I like it. It's like a baseball tee, different color sleeves.
Yeah.
It's a cool color combo. Is it teal and gray?
Sure is.
I'm into that. I like it.
Is that like an On Through the Night cover?
It kind of
motif?
is, yeah.
Vintage stuff.
Nice. Only the best for bed. And over there, you guys know this guy. One time I heard someone talking about him. They said
He was a moocher, a card cheat, a country club golf hustler, a scumbag.
I'd like to see Chris out on the country club golf scene in that setting.
you do it like once a year, don't you?
Do you
golf?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you would call him a country club. I guess any golf course is technically that, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Country club kind of implies that you have to be on your best behavior, right?
Yeah.
Not
So
like-
there's like a public golf
Not
course.
like the old MacArthur golf course.
That's what I was
You
thinking
can
of.
Be raving idiots like we used to be.
Yeah.
Right. There's a different level of decorum required. Yeah.
Is that something you thrive in? Do you thrive in that situation, or is it uncomfortable for you? Or
No, it's fine.
Fine.
I mean, it's the one time a year I golf to hang around with the old crew again, an excuse to get together. So
when's the last time you went golfing, Nick?
That time you got hit in the kneecap with the ball.
Mine too. Terrible.
it had to have hurt. How did this happen?
All right, so here's what happened. First of all, we're young and stupid, so keep that in mind. This is not something I would do now. So I'm left-handed, and I'm driving.
Wait, you're left-handed or you golf left-handed?
I'm left-handed with everything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Almost everything.
Almost. I don't
Guitar and pool.
and pool.
I'm
That's right.
lefty at pool. I always thought that was weird.
That is weird. We cross over on that. But as far as writing, sports, golf, whatever, left-handed. So if you know anything about golf, which I know very little, I'm terrible. So I drive the ball, and it's like a really bad slice, which means it goes out but also to the left. And I'm thinking, there's no way in hell anyone's going to hit the ball near me where my ball just went. So I just started going over there to get a jump on, going to get my second shot, because everyone else is right-handed.
Right.
No one's going to hit it. You'd have to hit it behind you almost.
Well, you'd have to, a right-hander would have to slice it. Or
like,
would hook it.
Hook it, but incredible amount of hooking it. An incredible degree.
Well, it can happen.
Well, it can happen, but I still suspect it was done on purpose. So anyway, I go over there, and just in case, when the guy's about to hit the ball, I lay down on the course, cover my face and my groin. The guy hits the ball, and sure as hell, full speed, direct kneecap hit with the golf ball.
And I can't speak for this individual, but I can speak to it's an obvious like a silent agreement that everybody has when they have an opportunity to shoot towards somebody, or like at the driving range, the car.
Yeah,
that comes by.
everybody does.
Everybody's
that.
trying to
Yes,
hit that.
everybody
so
does that.
there's an unspoken pact, I would say.
Yeah.
On the greens.
Yeah, but I'm not in a protective cage.
No, but
Asshole.
And what you're saying that this carries over to the actual course?
I'm saying in this case, I think it did.
Well, in this case, obviously it did. It hit him in the goddamn knee.
But I don't think it was
Accidental.
accidental.
It couldn't have been. It would have been
but
impossible.
it shouldn't be done.
No.
It's not.
It was
how
crossing a
things
line.
Work, yeah.
You know, when it happened, I said,
How dare him? How dare him?
You could crack a patella with that.
Could have cracked anything, yeah, patella, or if it hit me anywhere else.
I mean, it's
maybe
a
in the
goddamn
head.
golf ball.
It almost
Yeah.
bounced back and hit him.
I know. It was a direct shot. It didn't hit the ground first or anything.
Now, were you in pain for the rest of the round? That must have hurt.
Weirdly, no. It was instant numbness in my leg, and then when it wore off, I was okay. I had a bruise, but not any kind of
jeez.
like ligament bruising or
This is
anything.
High threshold of pain.
This
It
is-
was just a lucky shot.
This
like
is the same guy though who used to play goalie in roller hockey, and Andy had a pretty wicked slap shot. Would hit him in the same uncovered spot on his arm over and over and over.
you know what he would say.
Here's my buddy Andy.
That's not what he would say.
Yeah. Maybe that was not nice. Oh, well. There we go. What about this?
The Jones guys are having a night tonight, aren't they?
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Less enthused, I think. But,
So anyway, no golfing for me ever again. That was it.
And how long ago was this?
I think I was probably 19, 20, in that range. So 16, 17
Wow.
years ago. Yeah.
It's quite a while.
There was one other time after that, but it's not worth telling this story. But that's it. Maybe 1 or 2 years later, I went one more time, got drunk, and didn't go to school. So went before school, got drunk golfing, didn't go to school. Sorry, Mom. I graduated. It's okay. I figured it out.
Is it senior skip day or something? Or
No, it's college.
Oh, college.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You're paying for it. It's
Yeah.
at your discretion whether you want to show up or not.
Did not show up a lot. Oh, that was not good. Anyway, so guys, it's that time.
what time?
It's time for me to pick something from this very long list of songs.
Where are we at in terms of the total number at this point?
1982.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We'll never get through everything, which is probably a good thing considering some of the entries on there. But
Yeah.
If it stops there, that's a huge middle finger to Andy.
It
Stopping
is.
at 1982.
That would be, yeah. I was born the
we
next
need
year.
one more.
Yeah. That's what they would do to me, Nick. You're right. All right, so, I'm debating how I'm feeling. I think I'll do the Chris Brown rule. It's not a given, right? We don't have to do it.
No,
That's our choice.
no, but when you commit,
But when you commit to
you
doing
can't. I mean, you can, but you'd be revealed as a pussy, a non-committal asshole.
That's something
A liar.
Something that like a welcher, I believe they would call that.
Welcher. What does that mean?
You welch on a bet.
You've never heard the term welcher?
No, I have not. I guess if that guy didn't hit the golf ball at me, he'd be a welcher.
It's dishonorable.
You've never heard that term
Never.
until just now.
First time ever. What a Jack Welch? I don't know.
Welch's grape
Welch's
juice.
It would
juice.
fit in perfectly with the
Cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. One of the great lyrics of all time.
Who's that by?
That's Biggie Smalls,
Oh.
right? Big Papa.
Don't know.
T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape.
Cheese eggs.
Yeah, never heard that?
No, is that scrambled eggs with some some
cheesy
craft singles?
eggs. You can get that at Waffle House.
Is
That's
it?
probably what
Okay.
he's alluding to.
I'm guessing it's a craft singles and scrambled egg thing.
Yeah, man, you should try it. But yeah. So, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to Chris Brown it. We're going to go for it.
All right.
And I might just say no to the first two just to see what happens.
It's
jeez.
I'm feeling kind of.
it's worked out so far.
I'm feeling wily today.
I don't know, man. That's a dicey undertaking.
I'm not even going to look.
I can't wait.
Stand by. Let's go over to the Bozo Pewter.
Let's see. Ah, yes. We're in the 1400s here. Let's see. What do we have? What was it? 1439? Uh-huh. Nah.
Well,
El Skippo, which means I'm going to bushwick this.
okay. Now it gets interesting.
Yeah.
It's do or die right now. We're staying close by. Let's see what the Bozo Pewter tells me here. me up about 100 here. Let's see. Fuck. I don't know what this is. I think it's someone's own band.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the next one is that, what the fuck do we do?
I don't know.
We suffer.
We suffer. Well, I
need to put some of my band stuff in there.
I can't stand for this, so we're gonna roll the dice.
Oh my goodness!
Oh boy, here we go.
This is trouble.
It's big trouble.
It's the responsibility of the listeners if this is bad.
If it's somebody's own band, we're just gonna fucking destroy it. In fact, we won't even play it to the end. Just play the first few seconds and end it and go straight to the yard of questions.
We're just gonna talk about golf.
So get it off the fucking list.
20-minute episode.
All right.
I'd probably be welcome at this point. We've gotten chatty over the years.
It's gotten significantly longer, the average episode length, but okay, here we go.
Oh no. Oh man.
Well, I have no choice.
Some legit
gentlemen.
nervousness. Now, is this somebody we've heard of before? At least tell me that.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm content with that.
Seriously, if the third one was some asshole's unsigned band, literally we would do 6 seconds, end it, yard of questions, shortest episode ever. We're not fucking around with
Hit
that.
up some cheesy eggs on the way home.
Yeah, I mean wouldn't go against the Chris Brown rule, but we wouldn't abide that horse shit.
For an hour.
Be a 20-minute episode and let it be a lesson to you people out there. Depriving the world of another. So many people comment that they actually look forward to Mondays because of this show.
Yeah.
So if you submitted some horse shit and it came up number 3 due to the Chris Brown rule and we cut the episode short because of it, watch your back, as Lou Rawls would say.
My.
There you go.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's
Are
turn.
you feeling good about it? Or
So 50-50.
Is it an act?
and everybody else knows it
Yeah.
except me. And
Is it
Nick.
someone that we've heard before?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We know the band.
I just asked him that.
Oh,
Nick was doing something over there.
I wasn't doing anything.
Nick was admiring his own Def Leppard shirt. Yeah, it's a
doing
band.
nothing.
It's a band we know.
Okay.
I'm just not familiar with this particular song, so I hope it's one that works for us here. But if not, we get what we get. So here we go, Mr. Jericho. Hit me.
All right, Hammo. This one's called
Nobody Rides for Free.
Off of
Tell It to the World.
by the band.
RATT.
Okay.
That's what we got.
I don't know this song, but that's pretty cool.
I'm familiar with the title, but I've never heard it. And what's the album name?
Tell It to the World.
So is this before Out of the Cellar, or is this a later album?
We're going to find out.
This is probably a newer one. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, because I think they just had their self-titled EP and then Out of the Cellar.
All right.
And then before that was the Mickey Rat era with Jakey Lee.
Correct.
All right, well, as we look up that information, I can tell you this song was submitted by Charles C.R. Fellow.
Well,
Why am I blanking on this joke? Should I be
Well,
mockingly laughing
no,
at this guy?
just
Last time,
I'll
he submitted a song in the past, and Nick made one of my favorite bad but great jokes ever.
said
When I said, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, C.R. Fellow.
and then I couldn't help myself and said something along the lines of when my oldest son was born, we called up everybody we knew and said, "Hey, come over and see our fellow." So Andy was the one.
I loved it. All right, so Tell It to the World. Okay. What is Tell It to the World? Now I'm looking. I see Tell the World, the very best of RATT. Is that what it is? That must be it.
Could be.
Is that like one of the is this the studio cut that's on the Greatest Hits album? Is that what this is?
We're all scrambling
We're
right
all
now.
scrambling.
Did Mr. C.R. Fellow give us any
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing to say.
Well, that's his.
Yeah.
That's his freedom.
According to Wikipedia, I looked it up. Is a single by the American heavy metal band RATT, originally taken from the Point Break soundtrack.
Oh my!
Oh.
Released in 1991.
Okay. Very cool.
Well, what's this bullshit? What do you have up there, Andy? Is it a greatest hits album?
This is Tell the World the Very Best of RATT.
Oh, okay, so this is a soundtrack cut that's on this greatest hits package.
Pretty
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very cool.
who is in the band for this cut? Is it the classic lineup?
By 91, I don't know for sure, but I would assume so.
This was RATT's first single recorded without guitarist Robin Crosby, who left the band the year before due to a drug addiction.
Oh.
So it looks like everybody else is in the band. Possibly Bobby Blotzer, the drummer. I don't know if anybody really cares, but the other three, Piercy, DeMartini, Crucier, all in the lineup.
Good last names.
The most ethnic sounding
Juan
band.
Crucier.
The most ethnic band
Latino
I can
first
think of.
name, Francais last name.
The
Interesting
ideal
mix.
combination for a lover.
Yeah.
All right.
He's working multiple time zones, that guy.
Known for his sexy stage moves.
Really?
Is that true?
He you got to see it. I don't know if I can describe it. But
Can you do it for us?
I can't even describe it.
Is it?
He's a very animated bass player. Even to this day, when he looks like somebody's dad down the block, still thrusting his hips around like a horny old asshole.
And he's one of the original lineup?
I would think so. I'm not
Okay.
a RATT historian, but he was an original member of Dokken, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, before.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, if you had him on one side of the stage and then Jakey Lee from back then doing his little dances he would do and shaking his hair
Well,
around.
you know that's the. DeMartini was known for doing that.
See, and that would
Crosby,
make
the
perfect
whole
sense.
the whole front line of RATT was known for their hip thrusting and their, working women into a frenzy.
I mean, if you're gonna
One
be
of the
in a
more
band-
interesting of the hair bands, I must say.
Yeah.
Talented guys. Piercy is kind of a polarizing frontman, but I always thought he had a great image and a kind of a unique voice,
Yeah.
similar to like Jeff Keith and Tesla. Had like
Gravelly.
a shrill, gravelly
And he's
sound
got.
to it.
Now, we haven't gotten to the song yet, but he's one of those guys where his voice has like multiple textures to it.
Yeah, I think he's.
It almost sounds doubled. I mean, I'm sure a lot of recordings it does sound doubled, but even when it's not, it's got like that sort of quality to it.
I think a lot of, like I said, there's some people who absolutely despise this guy, and I think a lot of it comes down to the whole. RATT's one of those bands where there are multiple incarnations touring. Mentioned Bobby Blotzer, the drummer, before, but he's spearheading one of them, and Piercy is. In fact, they just came through at Ron Onesti's Arcada Theater out in St. Charles.
It's so many bands from that area, from that time period, are doing that right now.
They split up and they both touring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that thing we've talked about where if you've ever had a hit, you could pretty much tour forever in some capacity. But
you got to make a living. You got to keep the lights on.
But
they
like,
don't get along well enough to just do it together.
But these 80s like Sunset Strip bands, there's so many of them that are where there's multiple versions of the same band, not different names.
Well, that's the other thing.
It's just a weird,
peculiar
thing to this whole scene.
There's two guys in this band, let's say, and they can't get along, so they split up. Whoever doesn't get the equity of the name everyone knows is going to get less money.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure.
Like if you were in RATT and you start a new band called Barbecue Parties. no one's going to go see barbecue parties.
You know,
they're going to go,
you
and Ron Onesti is not going to book barbecue parties and give you an advance on the, on your payment.
I beg to differ. But, this is a bad
Onesti
example.
will lay out anything for anybody.
Okay.
But I think that's a bad example.
Yeah.
You picked too good a name.
Go with our boy Tommy Lounges. That's more accurate.
You could have RATT with 2 T's, and then you could just the other guy can call it TAR with 2 R's.
There you go.
There you go.
But the thing is, if you completely do a new name and you tell everyone, I'm the guy that was in whatever, no one cares. Unfortunately, you're going to draw a bigger audience just because you're calling yourself RATT.
Well, obviously, yes. This is the same thinking behind when Motley Crue replaced Vince Neil.
Nick's embarrassed about something.
I have something I can't say. I'm sorry.
All right.
Never mind. Vince Neil, yeah.
When the Crew replaced Vince Neil with John Corabi, they kept the name because, as you alluded to before, there's equity in that.
Yeah. Even
though the tour was a disaster and whatever, it would have been much more of one had they gone out under a different name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, are you guys ready?
I like the title because it, invokes the second half of the infamous 70s bumper sticker, which would read, "Gas, ass, or grass, nobody rides for free."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That you'd see on one of those Econoline vans with the fishbowl window and the carpeted upholstered sides and roof of the interior.
That's a good vehicle. I don't know why there's not some version of that vehicle that is current.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't made a comeback. As for as we know, everything old becomes new again.
That'll be here soon. But just for like a single guy or whatever. For some reason, the van has a stigma now that you're a pervert.
Well, because the minivan has ruined the whole van concept, I think.
It's not sexy anymore?
Well, a minivan? Fuck no.
Well, I mean, the van is not sexy because of the minivan?
I think it's been sullied a bit.
I think the van is like anything else. It's good in and of itself. But it gets exploited and then gets a bad reputation. People ruin it.
Well, it was commandeered by white soccer moms who tend to ruin everything, and they ruin that. But I think if you were to reissue, nobody should ever take any business advice from me, okay? But if you were to reissue the Ford Econoline with the fishbowl windows and the shag carpeting covering the interior, there might be a market for that.
Why not? Yeah.
Then again, we've talked about it before. These young kids these days don't seem to be driven by their gonads anymore. So, I mean, what would be the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the whole point of that thing is to have it be a shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, I don't...
The van's rocking, don't come knocking, all that stuff.
You drive it somewhere, you pull up, you open the side door, and you hang out and try to attract whatever you're trying to attract.
Crank up the Pioneer stereo. And
sounds like a good time.
It was a good time. There was some older, and when I say older, he could have been in his 30s. But there's some hippie guy on the block had one of those vehicles.
Did he have the bumper stickers?
I don't remember, but who knows how many women he bedded down in the back of that thing.
Were such bumper stickers that common? Do you recall them being everywhere?
The big one that I recall in the 70s was the "Keep on Truckin'" bumper sticker with the cartoon character with the big shoe sticking out. Have you seen that? Yeah. Those were omnipresent, along with what I've talked about before, the holographic Zodiac bumper stickers.
Weird. I guess that was like social media of the time.
I guess so. Yeah, it was.
Bumper stickers.
Casting your net.
Kind of, kind of how you expressed yourself. Morphed into the Calvin pissing and things of that nature.
Yeah. And now you pretty much only see two things. It's either some kind of family related thing, like the stick family, or like the sports number with the whatever sport ball your kid plays.
And again, who's ruined bumper stickers? White soccer moms fucking promoting their fucking family. Nobody cares about how many members of your family there are, including the pets. Nobody gives a fuck how great your kid is at football. Nobody cares.
Do any of those vehicles have that and then the combo with the rubber testicles hanging from the bottom?
That's like a joint Facebook account that couples have.
Well, I've got 3 sons, so I can hang 4 from the back. if I wanted to kind of morph the two ideas, I
8
guess.
balls.
8 nuts swinging around. It's like a just married thing.
Dragging.
The cans dragging off the back bumper.
And then the other thing is any kind of political sticker. That's the other thing you see a lot.
Yeah,
and it's usually, if they have 1, they have 6.
Yeah, that's another thing. Nobody has one bumper sticker. It's like they're plastered all over the back.
Well, you know what? The idiotic one that I see more than any, it seems, these days, is the word "it" with the little stick guy.
Somebody fucking
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what we
I
need
see
to
that
do?
one a lot.
I just got a really good idea. We're going to make a Chris pissing sticker, and then we're going to send them to people per request, and then it's going to be a competition where they have to vandalize other people's cars by having Chris piss on their bumper stickers.
It's an amendum to.
What do we think of this?
Addendum, rather.
Chris did have I don't know how often you use the phrase anymore, but you used to say, piss on that.
That's
quite
true.
a bit.
So if you see a bumper sticker
Yeah.
you don't like, you add this to it.
Yes, and then the person who has the
Pretty
best
great.
one will win a prize.
It's kind of like the new version of another omnipresent sticker you see is Bill Murray's mustachioed
Yeah.
face from what movie is that? Is that Rushmore? Or
I don't know if it's
think it's a
Rushmore.
little-
or
the
later
Life
one.
Aquatic
Yeah.
or
I was going to
something?
say
I
Life
think it's that
Aquatic.
one.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like you see that on
Yeah.
regularly.
That
It's
one-
like, how did that become a thing?
That one deserves pee.
That does.
But how did it become a thing?
I don't know.
I don't get it at all. I don't know why it's a thing.
Give it pee.
Bill Murray deserves pee.
Well, now let's not get crazy.
He does.
Really?
Give him pee.
I don't care about Bill Murray.
All
I don't
right.
either.
But I understand if people do.
Must be a generational
I just
thing.
think he's overhyped as like a folk hero.
Yeah.
When it's not
completely
necessary.
agree.
I don't disagree about that, but I mean he's unquestionably laid down some of the best comedic cinematic performances of all time.
Yeah,
But-
that's a while ago already, though.
Oh yeah, I mean he's gotten a little.
He's decided he
Artsy
didn't want to be
over the
funny anymore a long time ago.
You know what? People reinvent themselves. What are you going to say?
Oh. Pee on him.
Pee on
All
him.
right, I
Chris,
give him
that's
pee.
fine.
Chris, piss on that. All right. Well, it's time for Nobody Rides for Free by RATT. Before we get started, I needed to something to cleanse the palate. Maybe a good commercial. What do you guys think?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, apparently it's 50-50 whether people hear them or not.
It's going to be an ad for the next Bill Murray movie, probably.
Yeah.
We have a knack for destroying our sponsors just before they come on.
Dunkin'
And by
Donuts
we,
sandwich.
I mean I.
Yeah. It's going to be some kind of bumper. It's going to be a Soccer Moms of America
Yeah,
commercial.
or a minivan, the latest Honda Odyssey ad, or the Nissan Breast.
There you go.
I don't know. Somebody's own line of rubber testicles. I don't know who.
Signature series.
The Fred Bear line of.
Is there someone with unique enough testicles to have a signature series?
I don't know. It's got to be someone out there who's known for their.
don't know.
Nobody.
Maybe let's ask the internet. Facebook, let us know.
Maybe that should be a new thing. Become known for your testicles.
Should pass out pamphlets that say that.
Take back masculinity. We've discussed that on the show. Become known for your testicles. That's the marching orders.
Somehow in a legal way.
Yeah.
The male equivalent of feet on the floor. Empowering.
I'm going to have a seminar at Panera
That would be the place.
Yeah, bring a
That's where radical ideas come first.
and people have no problem acting like it's their own private office, conference room. They play stuff on their laptop with the sound on and show it to people.
Yeah, what
Like,
a weird place that's become.
it's very strange. Job interviews happening all the time.
I know. It's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get a Panera ad before we get into the music. So right on cue. Here we go.
It's like a soundtrack to someone opening the door of their van.
Well,
Right.
now Point Break, I never saw it, but
Yeah, I never saw that either.
is this the one where there's surfing?
There's
Involved?
surfing and bank robbing.
And skydiving.
And
too,
skydiving.
right?
Okay.
What's the do we even want to go
No, I
down
don't
that
care, but-
road? I mean, what,
Here's
is it
what I know.
professional
Is it a-
bank heist guys or what is
It's
it?
like a gang of thrill seekers.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. That's
Teenage
probably the best.
thrill seekers.
right.
That's it.
And their barbecue parties. No, but yeah, I never saw it. Did you ever see that, Andy?
I saw. Here's the weird thing. I saw it. I'm gonna guess I was 8 at one of my friend's houses. His mom was watching it. I'm like, why are we watching
She's
this?
diddling herself to Swayze, no question about it.
Apparently, it was. We're not turning this off until it's over with, and you guys could watch what you watch when you're 8. But I'm watching Point Break until it's over on a sleepover. I thought that was very weird. We also watched Terminator 2 at her house one time.
That's
like,
still,
this is
I
weird
still
for a kid.
contend, not nearly as bad as the time I was forced to watch American Me at a sleepover.
Who is forcing kids to watch? Why would an adult even get involved in that?
Here's what I'm thinking it is. There's one TV in the house, and they don't give a damn that their kid is having a sleepover. They want to watch their movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you guys
So
want
why would you schedule a sleepover?
Probably a drunken mistake, and then you don't
that's
want to
just
go
dumb.
back on it.
First
I
of
don't
all,
know.
nobody has just one TV anymore.
No.
There's a fucking TV in every room of every house,
Right.
of every residence on the planet.
And you could just look at your phone and watch YouTube if you had a
Well, there's
sleepover
that too, yeah.
iPad,
So, and kids aren't watching TV either. They're playing video games. So,
and they're watching unboxing videos.
yes.
All right.
Okay, so, little tension and release there from the opening.
Yeah.
And DeMartini, one of the top regarded guitarists of the hair metal genre, doing his thing at the outset.
Yeah. I like it so far. I got, it wasn't, I mean, you hear RATT and you think, okay, hair metal, is it going to get into Cheeseville? But so far it hasn't, so.
You know what? I never owned any hair metal albums except for Tooth and Nail by Dokken was the only one that I ever paid money for. I guess Worldwide Live by the Scorpions counts, but that was like I was doing the Columbia House thing and I literally couldn't think of the last album to get to round up to my 13, so I picked that one. But so I entered college in 1985, and there were guys on the floor who were way into hair metal, and they loved RATT. So I got my fill of RATT from those guys. They had out of the cellar, and that was the year that Invasion of Your Privacy came out. So they had the Lay It Down, You're in Love stuff, just constantly coming out of their room at top volume. And this was back in the day when everybody had the multiple component stereos and the huge tower speakers. So I definitely was exposed to plenty of RATT in college, which sounds odd because you don't usually associate college with this type of music, but
Yeah.
Those were the kind of guys who were on my freshman year floor.
Were there any guys who wore RATT painters caps?
Did not, no. I mean, yeah, the T-shirts or whatever, but no, the other guy down the hall, Fat Boys painter's cap, was had it over on everybody.
Yeah, he
else.
did.
Dare I say, Andy, and I'm going to, since this is your pick, interested in your opinion on this, not that you're necessarily a RATT fan, but he almost had a Mustaine-esque
Yes, I was thinking
tone
it.
to the voice.
I was going to say
How
it
about that?
sounded like Mustaine in like 86, 87,
Yeah.
87,
I
88.
wonder if that was a conscious thing. I mean, because
I don't know.
his vocal style is a little different on this one. I think it's due to the nature of the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more laid back, at least during these verses. So
It's hard to even hear them during
The first part.
those first parts. Yeah.
It's kind of quiet in there, right? But yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. It's funny you said that. It totally sounded like him. Doesn't sound like the Stephen Piercy we know.
It's there.
It's there, but it's not the same approach.
But the Mustaine, that didn't come to me. But yeah, totally agree.
And did he typically sing that clean occasionally? Because I didn't recognize that as being RATT. If he would have played the first before he got like the grit in his voice, I would not have guessed that this was RATT.
yeah, I was going to say it was not. I was almost questioning whether it was him at the outset.
Yeah, someone else took a lead vocal. Patrick Swayze singing.
Yeah. He's been known to do that. She's Like the Wind was his contribution to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
She's like the wind.
I don't think he contributed anything to the Roadhouse soundtrack, but I might be mistaken about that.
She's like the wind. I've broken both.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say Fat Boy's head. She broke the wind.
He broke the wind.
Disorderly soundtrack.
Disorderlies. That's another one I've got to revisit.
No, I don't know too much about the movie, but I'm pretty sure it's like this group of bank robbers, and I think this is the movie where they have the president's masks on.
Yep, like the Nixon mask and stuff. Yeah,
and so is he's like he's a lawman, and I think it's like one of those undercover kind of things. He's infiltrating the group of outlaws. The Nobody Rides for Free reference, I don't know if they wrote it for this, knowing what the plot was, but it kind of makes sense.
The song sounds, maybe I'm just putting two and two together, that beginning part sounded like it's written for some kind of surfing scene or something.
Which who knows, it probably is.
Well, according to Wikipedia, this was played during the closing credits, so
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, what like you brought up Terminator 2, that was around 1991, correct?
Yeah,
same era,
same time.
So you had Guns N' Roses songs on the soundtrack, so it seemed kind of a trend just before the rug got pulled out from the whole genre by the Seattle bands and just changing tastes and whatnot. But sonically, I think the snare sound has that big gated reverb, but not like overtly so. It's kind of like a nice medium between that 80s snare sound and something decent, I think. In terms of other RATT tunes I've heard, that production wise, this is a step in the right direction, I think. And you know, the instrumentation, the musicianship has always been top notch. So interesting transitional phase for them after Robin Crosby left the band. He was kind of their Svengali, you know, the creative force behind the group, and that, you know, famously died of AIDS soon afterwards. But you know, interesting transformational time for them.
And even though this is 91, it's the backing vocals that sound like a synthesizer, basically.
Yeah.
The impossible to recreate in a live setting kind of backing vocals, but
Kind of aspiring to the Def Leppard standard, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, that's you'd have to say that's who made it popular, I would think.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's all right. It sometimes comes out of left field though, because like in this case, you know, the music and the vocals are kind of, there's a rawness to them, and then that super polished, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call it, but yeah, just super polished, like processed through the meat grinder kind of a sound on the backing vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
like
an interesting.
I said, I think they're aspiring to that. I think Def Leppard kind of set that standard, and you know, solidified it in what 87 was Hysteria.
Well, and even on, I'd say 83 with Pyromania.
Well, yeah, but I
they
mean,
were doing that. But yeah,
and then,
but then Hysteria for
then
sure.
Adrenalize was what 90.
90 or yeah,
So right around
91
the same
maybe.
thing, you
Yeah.
know, and they were still riding high with that. So I didn't really hear that the same way you did. I mean, I heard it. The backing vocals struck me as a little more organic than that, but I think in general that's kind of what they were going for. And when you think about it, that kind of arpeggiated guitar line is very Def Leppard.
Yeah, that's true.
Very Steve Clark like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think little did they know that it was all going to come apart for them and other bands of their ilk. But I think at the time, you know, it was Def Leppard was setting the standard, and I think they were trying to achieve that. So you can hear indications of that on here.
Well, go back a couple of weeks
That's what I was thinking.
to Sick of You by Guar,
Yeah, that was it.
even though that came out the year before this did.
I think that was an influence on this song.
we've got the scaled back little breakdown here that they parodied so well.
Yep.
The vocal is almost Guar like
Well,
the initial part there.
And there's a moment there that we just heard where he totally sounded like Joe Elliott from like the first couple of albums.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of similarities there. I wonder who produced this.
It's a Guar Def Leppard combination that they were going for here. What did he say?
I know Beau Hill produced most of their studio albums in the 80s. The noted 80s hair metal producer. The big, did you ever see the RATT Behind the Music episode?
I'm sure I did way back.
Yeah, that's one that got a lot of notoriety because they had Beau Hill on there, and he would talk about, like, you know, are you... Basically, is like, look, we had to produce an album for the label. If the guys in the band couldn't cut it, I would bring in studio ringers, whatever it took to get the job done. And there's a famous quote from Juan Cruchet about that topic. He's like, "You're going to bring in another guitarist to record instead of Warren DeMartini? Are you insane?" And it's like Beau Hill is just like all business. It's like, look, we're putting out product here. If you can't cut it, I'm going to bring in somebody who can, and we're going to move on to the next bit and get this thing out to market.
Well, I don't know who this gentleman is, but it says it's produced by Mick Guzovsky. Mick Guzovsky. So
Sounds like someone who would be affiliated with Gorky Park. The Gorky Park thing had probably run its course by 1991.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Guzovsky was
They
available.
had a lush gang vocals on the backgrounds of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, they went the route of not exactly Def Leppard. I guess it would be more of, well, a band I bring up quite a bit, more of a Slade thing where it's not even words. It's just kind of like a soccer chant kind of thing going on.
Or a loudness thing with those letters they were barking out.
That's true.
Yeah, MZA.
Yeah. In terms of Def Leppard, Gorky Park perhaps was the other way around. Perhaps Def Leppard was aspiring to be Gorky Park.
I could see that.
Could happen.
I mean, you got to set your sights high, right?
Gorky Park, history has labeled them an aspirational band for people.
I would think so.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they had a thing going on around.
kind of
them,
like
so.
me and Mrs. Jones.
Yeah,
They had a thing
exactly.
going on.
Yeah.
Oh boy, they were Moscow.
See our fellow.
Moscow was it the Moscow Peace Festival,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they were the
You don't-
headliners.
You don't play that and just be a bunch of scrubs.
No, they were the main act. Whether they played last or not, it's not important.
Well,
Everybody went home after that.
Yep.
they did a solid to all the Yankees that were coming over there, and it was like, you know what, we know we can headline this festival and just blow everyone else off the stage, so we're going to play first.
Yeah.
Just, you know, being good hosts in their country.
Yeah. It was
And what was Moscow Peace Festival? What was it? What was the Cold War was over by then, right? What was the peace?
or
they
was
were
it
going
over?
for?
I think it was over, but I thought
Was it?
I thought it was over, but it was the first. I could be totally wrong. The first concert of that type of music at that type of scale, like that big
Right,
festival.
but
So it was like a olive branch kind of thing, like
okay.
that's done, and now we're gonna get along and bring our cultures together.
Probably like a release of tension too on their part.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What did you think of the guitar.
He always had very nicely composed, well executed solos. He was a guy who was like a shredder, but not like from another planet shredder. He was like a mortal guy, meaning that it wasn't like something that you listen to and it's just like blew your mind how impossible it was. It just always had a lot of swagger, nicely thought out and composed, and he was just one of the top guys in that genre from my perspective.
And it wasn't super overdriven, the tone of it. It had a little bit of, like, I guess I'll go to like an Uli Roth kind of, where you can hear a little bit of twang in the strings still,
Right.
And it wasn't just like crazy distortion, and every single little thing he made, every little movement he made was was clear as day. Like,
I always had a good tone, and always had all the right elements and like everything he played. So, I mean, something like this is like, okay, it's a movie soundtrack cut. He's probably just, I mean, he's winging it, but of course it doesn't sound like that. It's still fitting in with what's going on, but I mean, it's not something that is necessarily iconic or hummable or something like that.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, there were parts where he was playing some with some dexterity, some faster notes, combinations and things. And there were moments where I thought, okay, he's probably going to like do a bend here and give it like some air, but then he kind of kept going. Like there were a few moments like that, where I thought like, oh, okay, there he goes again. I thought he was,
And he's a guy who's like been in and out of the band over the years. I think he's back out now. Him and Piercy just can't get along for any prolonged length of time. Carlos Cavazo of Quiet Riot has filled the Robin Crosby role in this band, but I think he's out too. So I think it's Piercy and Cruchet and then 3 other dudes in the band. So
basically the Temptations at this point.
Right.
I'm watching the official music video over here, and it's scenes from the movie cut in with a performance of them on a beach with like a bonfire going. It's a pretty cool video, though. It's edited well, like with their band.
Well, Andy's the video expert, does this for a living. So for him to say that is quite a statement.
For all they knew, they're like, okay, well, this is either going to be on Point Break or the Back to the Beach soundtrack. So we're safe either way with the footage that we're putting together.
Yeah. All right. It does seem like they're going for a darker thing, though, like a transitional period out of hair metal.
Like the visual image.
Yeah. Like it's more stripped down. They're just dressed kind of normal, and the like the lighting of it is more, I don't know, stylistic, I guess.
And, I think band we've featured on this one, this show several episodes ago, Skid Row, kind of laid down the gauntlet for going in a heavier direction with Slave to the Grind, which I don't know if it was out by this time, but I just think that the tide was turning at that point. But they couldn't have expected that the like I said, the rug would be completely pulled out from under them.
Another band that's coming to mind within this specific part of the whole conversation is Warrant. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I remember when they did the We Will Rock You cover. I think it was for Gladiator, the old movie Gladiator, the Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Gladiator?
The boxing movie.
Okay, sure.
The Brian Dennehy. So, yeah, I remember that same kind of thing where it was a strange sort of... when I saw the video, it was like, okay, they don't really look like... It's the different image. It became like a grittier kind of a... And to come back to Def Leppard, if you go to Joe Elliott's look in the Action video which was like, I don't know, when did that come out? 92 or something. I don't know. I'm guessing, but some of those bands did definitely go for that. So there must have been a feeling or
something was happening.
Either maybe not knowing what was coming, or I don't know what the motivation exactly would have been for them to kind of start looking like tough guys.
Well, and also Guns N' Roses had changed the whole visual. The Black Album had come out, and that was a little more accessible, but they were still t-shirt, jeans, no bullshit to their visual image. So there's a lot.
Did Guns N' Roses? I mean, I know they kind of toned down the hair thing, but did they change the way they dressed later?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, the Welcome to the Jungle video has the Axl with the teased out hair and stuff, but after that, they just, had a visual that more matched the music and their offstage antics.
With some oddball things, as I know Chris has mentioned many times, the catcher's outfit.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
The wearing of shin guards on stage. I've never understood that. Chest protector as well.
Yeah.
Just don't get that.
Did he wear shin guards too? I knew he wore chest protector. Did he?
I might be mistaking him for Jeff Hanneman of Slayer. He was a Wilson shin guards on stage guy.
Is he sponsored? I wonder.
Inexplicable reason.
And nothing else matched that. It wasn't
like
Michael Jackson wore shin guards, but it was part of some Michael Jackson like shiny gold outfit with other accented pieces on it. Jeff Hanneman just went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought shin guards.
Exactly. It would have been Sport Mart back then.
Sport Mart. There you go. You're right.
Yeah, and it's just like it makes no sense.
Maybe at a Slayer show, stuff gets flung around and you get nailed in the shins while you're playing. Maybe he just said no
curveballs in the dirt. Yeah, I don't get that, and I might be wrong about Axl, but he definitely was rocking the chest protector,
for sure.
Which I don't understand that. Very strange. Yeah, we won't get into the lyrics. I kind of looked them up, and there's nothing special going on. Other than I was just going to bring up because of that refrain that they've got that theme that is prevalent in Kiss music. Get out of my way.
Yeah,
I'm nobody's holding me back here. I'm gonna dominate life. Get out of my way. That type of thing.
Dominate life,
which is kind of a tried and true theme that if you got nothing else that'll work, that'll rally the guys that you're trying to get listening to this music.
And he's belting it out pretty excuse me, pretty forcefully there.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy who I've never seen RATT live, but you hear a lot of that he's very hit or miss, usually miss on stage. I don't know how he is like 30 years later, but even back in the day, he was almost like a David Lee Roth type character where like the singing on stage just didn't matter. It was
secondary to just him being there.
Putting on a show, being the ringleader, but I mean, again, I think his voice and his image just fit this band perfectly. I mean, these guys are like quintessential Sunset Strip sleaze metal. I mean, there's other bands obviously that encapsulate that, but I mean, these guys definitely had that down. And when they, had King Crosby in the band, I mean, these guys were just they just had that whole image and swagger down pat.
Chris brought up the similarities in a live setting with Stephen Pearcy and David Lee Roth. Totally could have gone into the call and response nobody from Just a Gigolo right there.
Yeah.
Something that I was pleased to see a video of earlier today of David Lee Roth busting that out
Oh, yeah.
in his new Vegas show. Assuming all the Kiss fans are going to get that.
Would you go? Are you considering buying a ticket now or no?
I was considering going anyway,
Okay.
but that would be a bonus. David Lee Roth would be gravy at that point.
Yeah. Agreed. Chris, you?
I mean, if I was to go again, he would be the reason. But some of the other clips, I mean, the vocals are gone for him. I mean, anybody who including myself, who bought the Live at the Tokyo Dome Van Halen live album, it's over from a vocal standpoint.
When was that from?
From after the last album,
Okay, yeah.
But the thing that kills it is he insists on trying to hit those high falsetto notes. Why does he do that? Why does he bother with that?
I have to say, I watched the Just Like Paradise clip earlier, and it sounded fine. And then during the chorus, the backing band took the high parts, and everything
as
like
they
that.
should.
And he was going for it though, and I remember a few times thinking like, no,
Just let them do it? Or?
he's going for it, but it doesn't sound like the rest of the band is. They're nailing it. So I don't know.
That's where he just loses it, and I don't know. He just and David Lee Roth being David Lee Roth, he simply doesn't care. He's just doing his thing, and he's still an American treasure, in my opinion. But you have to go in with the reasonable expectation that the vocals are gone. I mean, they will be dog shit terrible.
I was just noticing on the outro that the drums and bass were sounding pretty nice there.
Yeah,
on that part in particular.
They had good musicianship, and also it was kind of cool that typically they would have faded that out, but they kept it up, and you had the big rock ending there. I thought they were jamming out pretty good there at the end. Yeah, they always had great players in the band. Even Bobby Blotzer, dumb name, but the guy could play. He was pretty good. They were solid. I mean, again, I think they just encapsulated that whole scene. They were just sleazy. You knew these guys just loved banging chicks and just all the trappings of that style. They just lived it, And Stephen Pearcy, again, in his current incarnation, he's got to be pushing 60 now.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys like Iggy Pop, where he has like zero body fat. I think he looks great. Mm-hmm. I think he's definitely aging and aged, but I think he still looks the part. I think he's one of the cooler characters of 80s metal for sure.
Well, Chris, how about you give us the first vote? Sweet Surrender or Kick in the Crotch?
I'm going to give that a Sweet Surrender.
It's Sweet Surrender! Hell yes!
Like I said, I never owned any RATT stuff. I got my fill of the videos, and the other dudes on the floor were blasting this shit out constantly, so I got my fill of it. I didn't feel the need to own it, but I can't think of any RATT stuff I ever heard that I didn't like. You know, I mean, it didn't blow me away where I needed to own the albums and become familiar with all the deep cuts. But I never had any dislike for anything I heard from them. It was all solidly played. I mean, well produced for the genre. I mean, it was like most stuff, a little overproduced, but you know, it always sounded good, and you know, the musicianship was there. Captivating frontman, unique tone to his voice. I always was fine with RATT. Never had an issue with it. You know, there's just, you know, like Motley Crue. The whole that was the other album that came out in '85, Theater of Pain, and these guys would crank Theater of Pain constantly. And I remember listening to that and being like, "What happened from this to Shout at the Devil?" You know?
Yeah,
it was just a drop off, and they softened their image, and just none of the tunes grabbed me. And then they had the Home Sweet Home, the power ballad, but you know, RATT never ran afoul of my tastes in that fashion. I always thought they were solid.
Nick?
I'll give it a Sweet Surrender as well.
It's Sweet Surrender. Hell yes.
I mean, this isn't... I probably have heard, even, you know, Chris says he's not an expert in their catalog. I've probably heard less. But I will agree with you in regard to the fact that I've always, I mean, it's not a band that I've ever gone out of my way really to check out anything of, but the stuff that I've heard, like, always liked Lay It Down.
That's a great tune.
That one in particular.
That's an early, well, not, I won't say early, but, you know, a lot of people say that with a lot of the grunge tunes, that's where the drop D tuning came into vogue. But Lay It Down is an example of drop D. Unchained, Van Halen.
Yeah.
No Way Out, Heaven's Trail from Tesla, drop D. The little heavier sounding and lends itself to some good quality riffing. You know, it was going on in the hair metal scene, and then, you know, everybody attached it to what came afterwards, but it was definitely going on in the 80s.
Yeah, so I mean, this, I don't think I'm going to really go and listen to this one, you know. I don't know about ever again, but I probably won't be looking it up tomorrow and listening to it in my earbuds. But I mean, nothing wrong with it. I thought it was a good performance, good vocal performance in particular. And then all the instruments. You know, everybody was playing. It sounded very nice to me. Particularly, I don't know why, but just that outro, just the way that the bass and the drums kind of sonically came out and took notice, or I took notice of it. Yeah, I mean, and guitar solo, you could tell the guy's a good player.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Solo didn't really grab me in particular, but you know, you could tell the guy's a good player, and there's nothing wrong.
He has
with
way
that.
better solos throughout the catalog. Again, I think it was just, you know, soundtrack cut. You know, I'm just going to go in there and wing it. But even when he winged it, it was still sounded composed and thought out.
Yeah.
So
no issue with it, and probably a band I should go back and listen to their earlier deep cuts and stuff like that. Maybe I will at some point.
I might even pop for this greatest hits album. I mean, it's probably got, this is one of those bands where I think the best of package would do it for me.
Yeah,
I don't really need the deep cut from out of the cellar necessarily.
You don't need the Mickey Rat demos.
Not really, but like all the stuff that came out and was prominent in the 80s, I was fine with.
And I don't know, just calling the band Mickey Rat. Is it like I'm guessing that's Mickey Mouse and just
Yeah.
a sleazy version of it. It's almost too bad they didn't keep that going and have like a mascot.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Anthrax Knot Man or something like that.
I think they did. I think
they?
they did have some cartoon character logo.
Why not do Ricky Rat? What was it, Mickey Rat?
I don't know, some fucking fat white guy at the label just said, just call it Rat. I'm sure not a ton of thought went into it, but turned out to be the right move. I mean, simple, one word to the point.
Yeah, I'm not against that. I just thought Mickey Rat is clunky. Why wouldn't you go for Ricky? It sounds stupid.
Well, where were
They
you?
didn't do it. Yeah, where was I in 1980? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to kick it in the crotch.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch!
Sorry, guys.
And I can't do it.
I was really on the fence, 50-50.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like jumping up and down, sweet surrender,
Yeah.
But,
I have no problem with it, but pretty much what Nick said, echoing what Nick said, not going to look it up tomorrow, probably never going to listen to it again. Doesn't mean I hate everything by Rat, and I didn't hate this song. It's just, it was fine.
it's a perfect song for the end credits of a Swayze Reeves vehicle.
Yeah. It was fine, but it just wasn't grabbing me right now. So if you're mad at me, I'm sorry.
That's just the fucking way it is.
Deal with it. Maybe you think I'm a...
total fucking dewclaw.
If that's the case, I got to deal with that.
Interesting, though, that the Mustaine quality of the vocal, that little bit jumped out. It's interesting. And, Dave's got that same thing going on, that unique voice. That there's a lot to be said and a lot of credit to be given for doing something unique, especially in that genre.
And
where it became so cookie cutter, over the course of the decade.
And as odd as it sounds, I believe those two guys are good friends and have been for a long time.
I would say there's probably mutual respect there at the very least.
Yeah, I think I've read it. It might have been in Mustaine's book that you'd think since the thrash guys hated the hair guys so much that they wouldn't get along, but those guys have always been friends.
Well, and then here comes Metallica for the Black Album. It's like we want the guy who did Dr. Feelgood. We want to sound like that. It's like,
well, when you're 20, you say stupid shit.
Of
That's
course.
pretty much
And it's all nonsense anyway.
Yeah.
It's how different really is all.
It's
of
all in
that.
the packaging.
It's really barely. There's hardly any difference whatsoever.
And plus,
between
it's
the
been
two.
it's been exaggerated over years to play up the image and the whole thing.
All right, guys. Well, guess what time it is? You'll never guess. It's time for another commercial.
Oh.
Maybe not. I don't know. 50-50 chance. Every week I
What's
hear it from
this one?
someone.
Yeah.
There were no commercials. Yeah. I don't know why.
Well,
whatever. Probably some shit product. Oh, I hate that stuff. That's the worst stuff out there.
I'm wearing that right now though, so watch it. Watch it.
That adds to the humor, because who knows what it was. The fact that you're wearing it is gonna be funny. All right.
Sing away.
Yes, Chief.
It's like did the over the hill American baseball player really have that much of a discrepancy between in style with the Japanese baseball players in that movie?
It was an exaggeration.
Was it really that far removed?
Like Rat and Megadeth?
That's what I mean. Was it?
Yeah.
Is it really that different?
Well, for the sake of a good story,
I guess so.
yes, but maybe not. Oh, all right. Got a good one here, guys. This week's Yardo Questions comes to us from Jonathan Meisner.
Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan. Question 1. No BS, no intro, no outro, nothing.
Okay.
Just 3 questions. Question 1. In your opinion, what decade, top to bottom, was the best for rock music? 50s through 90s.
70s.
Yeah, it's always the 70s for me.
Yeah.
And I know he just said rock music, but just go down the list. Every genre and the sheer variety and the quality was just it had everything, you know. And so absolutely 70s for me.
70s, and then there was a lot of stuff in the 90s that I liked, but I'd still have to go 70s.
All right. Question 2. Who was your first celebrity crush? It could be in music, movies, or television.
Well, I have to go with the one that everybody is going to know that I'm going to say it. Andy could probably answer it for me.
Is it one that you mentioned to Rich all the time?
Of course.
Yeah. It's Marky Post from Night Court.
I'm obliged to say Marky Post at this point.
That's a good one, man. Major respect for that one. I just the first thing that comes to mind is going to be early on. It was just I don't know if I was just drawn to the exoticness of it, but
careful,
Thelma on Good Times.
Okay, yeah.
Remember that being some of the earliest nether region movement caused by that woman.
Huh.
And occasionally Walona, I'm not going to lie. There were some episodes when she looked damn good barging through that door. So.
All right. Question 3. We all know about Nick and Chris's love of the Twilight Zone. Besides Twilight Zone, what is your favorite television show and why?
Favorite television show? I'm gonna go. You know, of course, this is one of those questions where when I wake up tomorrow, I might be like sitting there in solitude, getting myself ready for the day, and then think, "Oh, why didn't I say this one? What am I doing?" But I'm gonna go Car 54. Where are you?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nick going vintage. As want to do.
Legitimately, like, there's one episode in particular. It's laugh out loud. Just it's like a kind of like how a Seinfeld episode would have been written, where everything's kind of going around and you know just coming around in circles. Everything's coming back. There's one episode in particular. I think it's called like the biggest day of the year, and I would point people to that. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But yeah, that one is in particular is hysterical.
So that show is a comedy.
Yeah.
What is the premise of that show? I'm familiar with the title of it, but I never really knew what the show was.
It's
about.
it's just a police precinct, and you know, just all the. I mean, you've got like the two main characters, where it's Fred Gwynn, and he's kind of the straight-laced guy, you know, straight-laced policeman, and then his partner is a goofball, kind of not too bright kind of a guy, and just it's a great show. Okay, it's really fun to go back and watch. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
Did not know that. Would not have guessed that was your choice. Interesting. Chris?
Oh, within the past probably 2 or 3 years, I've rediscovered MASH just because the reruns are on constantly, and it had been a long time since I'd seen them. But I'm going to go in another direction, a show that I would kill to see reruns of them, like easily accessible. I'm not even sure if they're on Netflix or whatever, but Three's Company, what a show, man. John Ritter, brilliant physical comedian.
Yeah.
Both landlords. Roper and Furley. I mean, didn't miss a beat. They're sort of like the Bon Scott and Brian Johnson of TV characters. Didn't miss a beat, switching from one to the next.
Yeah.
Incredible episodes. The one where Larry gives him the tranquilizers because he has a fear of flying, and he's going to this party where they have to get on a puddle jumper to get there, and when he arrives and the tranquilizers have kicked in, that's some of the best television of all time right there. That sequence where he just goes off, incredible stuff.
Now, how many blonde roommates did they have total?
Yeah, 3.
Was it 3 only? Okay, because I thought it was revolving door at a certain point.
There was Chrissy, there was Cindy, and then I'm blanking on the third one's name. Priscilla Barnes, I remember the actress's name, but then that horny old bag Lana, who was always coming around, wanted to bang Jack, and Furley wanted her too. Some great stuff there.
Furley I don't know that much about fashion, but Furley was I'm gonna say a pioneer in the neck scarf, the short neck scarves.
Mm-hmm. And the ascots just tied differently. Always had one on,
And just, all I think of when I think Mr. Furley is just probably for too long, but still was getting huge laughs. Just the mugging, just the eyes bulging out, and it's like, I guess if Don Knotts is killing with that kind of stuff, then you just leave the camera on him, I guess.
Well, and that's
why tighten it up?
Kind of like how we talk about where there's not that like swinging drumming anymore in rock music. There's no more. Is there any more physical comedy in like TV shows, sitcoms anymore?
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Not.
I mean, the physical comedy on Three's Company is incredible. I mean, just some of those. And the misunderstood, overheard conversations that were constantly sprinkled in. Classic stuff.
And wasn't that one of the hit sitcoms that had a short-lived, comparatively unsuccessful spin-off run afterwards?
The Ropers, yeah.
Well, there was two. What is it?
Three's a Crowd.
Three's a Crowd, yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
and there were the Ropers. Yeah,
yeah. They tried to. Well, and MASH had After MASH, and that didn't work out.
MASH had a few of them. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my pick. If anybody knows where those reruns are, short of buying them on DVD, please let me know.
I'm pretty sure there's a local channel. Like an antenna channel.
I never see it listed. Trust me. If I noticed it, I would DVR it.
I'm looking it up right now because I'm pretty sure I've seen it listed on the antenna channels.
All right, well, thank you to Jonathan Meisner for your Yardo questions. And if you, the listener, whoever you are, maybe you're Jonathan Meisner, I don't know. If you want to send in a Yardo questions, go ahead. Send in another one. Send in your first ever one, whatever you want. 1, 2, 3 questions. Go to potofthunder.com and make it happen. While you're at it, add something to the song submission list also on that same website. So easy to do. I love things that are easy to do on the internet. How about you guys? It's the best.
That's what the internet is.
Why should it be more difficult?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Keep it easy.
It's the danger of like Amazon. It's just so easy to buy shit.
Yep.
2 clicks, it's at your door, often that day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane what's going on.
Yep. All right, well, we'll be back next week with more Pot of Thunder fun.